This Shep Notes. I'm going to talk about the Constitution. I'm going to talk a little bit about Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution. Also, I'm going to give a parable, not so much in reference to the Bible, but in real life situations. This happened to me. Well, it didn't happen to me. I was a witness of it. And I'm going to talk a few other areas around this subject, almost like a coffee break. I'm not an expert, in this subject, and I know a lot of people out there know that. However, I'm protected by the Constitution of the United States. Everybody who was born here, who came in legitimately, is protected by it and have rights pertaining to the Constitution. Anybody illegitimately coming in, they cannot claim any rights to Constitution. If the law that was made to protect them was to get them to those rights in the Constitution, meaning that they have time, a window period in which they can become a citizen of the United States, and they're protected on the way. But to continuously stay in the United States without the Constitution, that is not possible. It's illegal. And the Constitution speaks about it. And they cannot invoke the Constitution if they're not legally in this country. Now, I'm not talking against illegal in this way that you think I might be talking about. I'm just talking about the Constitution is the country. This is the country, the Constitution. That's the country. That is the country. It will be barbarians without the Constitution. We won't have no laws, no procedures, no nothing, no representation, anything. But anybody who's not in this country, other country, they don't have them anyway. And that's barbaric. To come into a country, live there, and get those rights illegally. The strange thing, in my opinion, is that that's like someone coming to your house. You don't know who they are. They're living upstairs in your bedroom. They're eating your food. They're coming in or out. They got a key. They got privileges, and you don't even know who they are. And when you question them, they are valid. Or negate your inquiry about them. So there are many people who maybe don't think that way. They say, well, let them come in, live in my house, and do all those things. It doesn't bother me. However, the country would not survive if they had more people in the country than they are illegally than they are legal. Or you have an invasion like the people who are not legal to now vote legal people in their own states and have laws changed by a bunch of illegals, And I don't think any country should tolerate that sort of thing. That's why when you talk about compassion, I love compassion, but you can't let compassion overrun righteousness. Righteousness has to stand strong and show respect. And even in the face of people's own sympathy for people, the righteousness have to maintain the quality and foundation in which it stands on, so that inequality won't defeat the purpose of righteousness. That's only my opinion. Like I said, I'm not an expert. But although I feel for the immigrants, I feel for the illegals, but why is it so hard to go through the process? I know you could ask me, well, you tried. I understand that. We do have hard things that we try to do, and it is hard. But it's the way to get in. If I want to become a resident of some other nation, I would have to go through their procedures. I just can't walk in and take over. That's the end of that part of the presentation. But I wanted to say it because it boils down to compassion. It boils down to love. And I understand the problem, but I think people should not be used on that hand, and neither should the country be used on this hand, especially if we got a constitution. And this is a live situation. This really happened. I work for this place, respected place, with a lot of people who worked all over the country and probably through the different countries too for this organization. And what I'm going to tell you is managerial, someone who's a manager. People believe that the top dog, they call it the top man, the top woman, have all the power and that they cannot be stopped. Well, I know, that's not true. Because in my situation, the manager where I used to, a long time ago where I used to work, and there was a guy, we became friends. I thought he was a very thorough manager. And they had a good system set up, and he had supervisors under him. And they was high quality supervisors, very high quality. For a while, I used to hear him make statements. The haters, he would say, I didn't know who he was talking about. The haters might come along and do this or that. I didn't ask him. I figured that, whatever it is, I had a place that I was supervising, basically. From time to time, he would stop in and talk to me, And I had a lock office on the side. Later on, I got a key for it, but before then, I didn't have a key for it. It was sensitive machinery in there where you can get certain information. Now, I didn't ask for a key, but anyway, one of my supervisors was not in that same building. There was another building where they go around, different places. And it was a woman. She came in and we talked, and she asked me, did I do something? I said, so I was trying to figure out what she was talking about. And she would open the room and show me. I said, well, I thought I was barred from this room. I said, nobody, I was told I can go in there. I don't have no key or nothing. She said, you ain't no key for this room? I said, no. So she was with the other supervisor, too. So she got me a key, took about a half an hour to train me what the machines was all about. And I'm glad that they happened because now a lot of information that I needed, I didn't know how to get to it. And time to time I would go to the manager because he was basically over me when that supervisor wasn't around, The other supervisors, they weren't. They was like supervisors in different departments. And they wasn't my supervisor, but they would still come and ask me this or that, But one day they was in that same room, door locked, and they didn't know that I was in the other area, and they was talking. The only time no names, no place or anything, so I can tell you only what they said. They said that they were going to stand together against the manager. And he would have no other choice if they did not follow his instructions, and being so many of them, that he would be looked at as the person failing in his performance and job. And they said, we'll do this until we get the things we want done. That's what they said. This is a true story. I was astonished that they plotted against this manager who, in my opinion, was one of the best ones, But no, it didn't have to be a reason behind it. I think it was to control that position too, a manager. They wanted to get that manager to do things that the manager who had the authority said no to time after time. So they decided in their high positions and their knowledge of mandatory things, they said they're going to run the office through intimidation of this manager. So it worked. He left. He couldn't do his job, so he left. Then another manager came in, hard as a brick, mean as a roaring bear or something. So he must have went through that before, where he met these kind of people. And I never heard them in the room again, but I knew they had a job on their hands with this particular individual, because he'd been through it before. He wasn't going to go through it again. He was going to use the divide and conquer method with those supervisors, make sure that they have different projects, bring them in, tell them write reports, kept them busy. He kept pressure on them and things of that nature. Now, I was saying to myself, in the beginning, I would have said that was too hard. But no. I think he was saying to himself, I got to protect myself from these high supervisors. I do need them. They're very, I won't get any better than these. But I'm going to let them know that I will manage. Under the provisions that he had and under the provisions they had, he had a higher authority than they and could do things like this. So he was able to do that. And it worked out fine, just that they wasn't buddies. That's all. They wasn't buddies. Okay, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, stuff like that. Went around. They didn't have time to speak to them. These had the time. The other super had the time. Hey, how you know? But they ran past him. Okay, boom. And everybody said, okay, all right. They were too busy. He kept them very busy. Whereas the other manager, being of a kind and nice spirit, wanted to run it that way. I think maybe you can't run it that way. That's all. I just want to bring that out as like a parable. Now, in reference to the Constitution, I'm just going to let you hear it. That's all. I'm not going to expound upon it. I'm not a constitutional expert or anything, but a lot of people out there are. So I'm going to give you a piece of the Constitution. Now, I'm going to let you hear Article 2, Section 1. At some point, everybody should know the Constitution. Because of all these different things coming up time to time, especially in my lifetime, we've been through a lot of different stories, different things have happened. The Constitution controls all of this eventually. Eventually, you'll get down to the Constitution for this country. It's been amended here and there, but it is foundation for everything that we do in this country. It's that Constitution. And many people don't know it. If they could argue the Constitution, even at the lowest level, the Constitution is applicable to the highest level. Knowing the Constitution is protecting your rights. Now, I know we invest these responsibilities in lawyers and judges and stuff, but we have a responsibility too to know them. Or when we are challenged, to go and find out what those constitutional rights are so we can protect ourselves from them. At the same time, like I said, there are amendments, and if this has been amended that I put up there, there will be someone to make that argument. But I'm just putting it up there because this is the tone that's being played at this time. We should at least know what song is being played. So that's the presentation for the day, or like a coffee break. All right, this is Article 2, Section 1.
The Constitution of the United States. Article 2. Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and, together with the Vice President, chosen for the same term, be elected, as follows. Each state shall appoint, in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct, a number of electors, equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator or representative, or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States, shall be appointed an elector. The electors shall meet in their respective states, and vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. And they shall make a list of all the persons voted for, and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify, and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if there be more than one who have such majority, and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for President, and if no person have a majority, then from the 5 highest on the list the said House shall in like manner choose the President. But in choosing the President, the votes shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of the President, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the Vice President. But if there should remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the Vice President. The Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors, and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. No person except a natural-born citizen, or a citizen of the United States, at the time of the adoption of this Constitution, shall be eligible to the office of President, neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years, and been 14 years a resident within the United States. In case of the removal of the President from office, or of his death, resignation, or inability to discharge the powers and duties of the said office, the same shall devolve on the Vice President, and the Congress may by law provide for the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the President and Vice President, declaring what officer shall then act as President, and such officer shall act accordingly, until the disability be removed, or a President shall be elected. The President shall, at stated times, receive for his services, a compensation, which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected, and he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States, or any of them. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation: I do solemnly swear, or affirm, that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and will to the best of my ability, preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.